Welcome to the Produce Moms Podcast, where we believe there is a produce mom in all of us. I'm Lori Taylor, founder and CEO of the Produce Moms. For 10 years, I sold fresh produce to over 300 grocery stores in the U.S. And today, my team and I are fully focused on inspiring people to eat more fruits and vegetables. This show is just one of the ways that we hope to inspire you and your family to eat more produce and live a better life. If you like what you're hearing on the podcast, join our community of almost 40,000 in all 50 states and over 30 countries by visiting theproducemoms.com/subscribe. And be sure to subscribe and leave us a review on iTunes. Thanks for being here. Enjoy today's show. Welcome back, everyone. This is the Produce Moms Podcast. My name is Lori Taylor. I am the founder of the Produce Moms, and I love hosting this show. I feel like I keep saying that, but the reason I keep saying that is because week after week, we have the most amazing people coming on and being our guests and telling their story about how they are leaving their legacy style mark on the fresh fruit and vegetable supply chain and the produce industry. And today's guest, oh my goodness, Noah Robbins. He is the founder and CEO of Ark Foods. I love this brand. And Ark Foods first of all, their branding is just on point. Like, you feel like you're looking at something very elegant. And then you look a little closer and you're like, wow, it's just simple, like kohlrabi noodles with a very, basic but delightful sauce. So simple, but also very modern. And it has that farmhouse feel to it. Like, if you are into the motif of like the Chip and Joanna Gaines style, I would kind of peg their motif like right in that bucket. It's kind of like this shabby chic approach to getting you to fall in love with the sight of the food. And then you open it up and you realize how easy it is to make it. And then you taste it. And then you are a fangirl like me. And so I was so thrilled when I just candidly one day made an Ark Foods product for lunch. I don't even remember which one it was because I buy these all the time. And they responded on my Instagram story and they were like, hey, thanks for the shout out. We love what you do. And so from there, of course, I had to hunt down the founder and CEO, and he's here with us today. Noah, welcome. We're glad you're here.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. Really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. So tell everyone a little bit more about yourself, and you introduce your brand, Ark Foods. What is it? What does it mean to you? And how did it all get started?
Yeah, so Ark Foods is a modern day farming company. We make vegetables and fresh food just more accessible. So how do we start? So, I actually grew up around ag. My dad was a citrus farmer, and, primarily permanent crops and citrus. And when I graduated school, I saw that the average age of a farmer was 58. And I, I'd always loved citrus, but was more interested in row crop production. And that kind of led me down this rabbit hole of like, how do I make, farmers market vegetables, but vegetables in general, just more accessible and in as many different formats as possible. So we have from our farms line, which we farm. So we have shishitos and red Fresnos and honey nut squash and so forth, like a purple bell pepper. And then we have our clean label eats line, which we have our veggie bowls, which is like all around about healthy indulgence. So they're
yes, those are what my lunches are. Noah, awesome. I'm talking like 3 times a week. I'm either having the mac and cheese or one of the veggie noodles. Like, I absolutely love it.
That's so cool. Yeah. I mean, for me, it's a lot of time it's about like the product has to taste good. And then from there, it really has to check as many boxes as humanly possible. So like it has to be clean ingredients, right? You have to pronounce everything. And then you have to get people really excited about like eating vegetables. Mac and cheese is like such a staple in people's lives, right? But it would be really cool if we could just like put cauliflower with the kind of ooey gooey cheese sauce that we love, but have it be healthy. So yeah, it's really great to hear that you love something like our cauli mac. Really
I do. I love all those veggie bowls, but your product line doesn't stop there. And you've got a really exciting new one with the clean label salads that I recently read about. And I'm actively waiting for them to land on shelf here in Indianapolis. But tell our listeners about those.
Yeah. So we just launched a clean label salad line. So, it's our take on the salads that you know and love. Like you have your Caesar salad. But for us, We have a cashew kale Caesar, right? What's really cool is like we're always kind of tinkering with new ideas. So instead of your standard crouton in the salad, we actually roasted chickpeas. So it's like filled with protein, but you get that like really fun, salty crunch that you would normally get out of a crouton. We also, because we're always trying to make these like quote unquote high end or farmers market type of vegetables accessible, we put really interesting vegetables in them. So, although it has a kale base or something, right, we put watermelon radish or golden beets inside the salad. And then the dressing, since we make super clean ingredients, right? You can pronounce everything and they're plant-based. So again, it's about, at an affordable price, eating vegetables and kind of like getting the same experience that you know and love, but have it be, much cleaner experience, a better experience for you.
Yes. And I love that you're leaning into so many colorful veggies to bring into your salad line, because let's be real, we eat with our eyes first. I mean, that's how, honestly, Noah, that's how your product even caught my eye at grocery retail, was because I thought the packaging was just striking, and it, in all the sea of what you are met with in the produce department, like it really stuck out. This is unique. It looks different. It almost looks like, to your point, what you said earlier, like it looks like I'm buying this straight from the farm. It's got that farmhouse feel to it, which I love.
Thanks. Yeah, we focus a lot on, trying to engage that customer and make them feel as though they're getting a premium product, right? And because food is this new cultural capital, they're getting this premium product, but they're not stretching for it, right? They're getting it at an affordable price, and we work really
so
hard.
Convenient. I mean, that's why I come back time and time again. You make it easy.
Yeah, I think you have to, right? Like, to get people excited about the experience, you can't make them, there are some people that love to cook and some people that don't. And that's okay. And it's vegetables are for everyone and for different ways. Right. And so, our salad line, it's like you pour the packet of, chickpeas in, you pour the dressing in, you mix it up and you're done. So, I mean, I love it.
I love it too. So this product line, I'll be honest, I'm usually the one that hogs all of the Ark Foods products that I bring into my home. But with this being the Produce Moms podcast, let's talk about how what are your intentions with how to connect with children and consumers of all ages, whether you're doing your product innovation or your ongoing efforts, like how do you view Ark Foods as a solution in that, regard?
Yeah, so it's really funny you say that. So, during the beginning of the pandemic, I'm very close to my sister. My brother-in-law works with me. My father does too. We're a family business. And I knew that they needed help around the house. So I moved in with them, and they called me Uncle Jesse. I don't know if you know the Full House reference.
Oh my God, of course. Yes.
So,
I mean, like, I know every episode.
So what ended up happening was, obviously I love my nephew and niece, but I really got to spend a tremendous amount of time with them. And the food has to really taste good. They're actually pickier eaters than I am. I mean, I'm not a picky eater at all, honestly. I love food in general, but, they really kind of are interested in food, intrigued with food, and just like, every experience is a unique experience, right? And we definitely kind of came up with different hacks, right? There was pasta night every week. And what ended up happening was, like, I would say, hey, Rafa, guess what type of pasta I'm having? He's like, veggie pasta. So he got like really excited around this like idea of like a new take on the standard pasta that he knew. So he got really into the pesto one. Another example was he's a chicken nugget fan. I mean, who isn't, right?
Yes. I mean, if we're being honest, you're right. Who isn't?
And, instead of like, an Annie's mac and cheese or regular mac and cheese, we gave him the cauli mac, and he just ate it up because, one, it tastes good. And then I always talk about how, vegetables make you stronger. So using like the old school Popeyes approach, but, he doesn't know who Popeyes is, but really talking about like vegetables as a superfood, right? Like, right. Hey, little dude, they make you a lot stronger. You're going to, you're going to become taller, or you can lift anything you want, or, all of these like fun kind of attributes that are associated with vegetables. It was a really fun game. And then, once he tried it and once Bobby tried it, my niece, like they just kind of like couldn't stop eating it. And that was the ultimate kind of compliment I've ever gotten, honestly. If kids like it, it's a good product.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to talk a little bit about how it started and where it's going. I think it's really phenomenal when you visit the Ark Foods website, arkfoods.com, and poke around a little, you can go to the About page and realize, wow, this company started growing just one vegetable item, and look at your portfolio today. So tell a little bit, share a little bit more about that, like how it started and where you're going.
Yeah. So, obviously I had this idea of making, vegetables as accessible as humanly possible, right? We're not there yet, but we're constantly, really striving to do that. And we started on just 3 acres, right? I borrowed some 3 acres from a friend. We started farming and so forth, and scaled since then, and really built the shishito market to what it is today. And we're still working on that, right?
So shishito peppers were the one flagship item.
Yeah, they were the first vegetable that we really decided to work hard at.
Anyone who's not listening, I mean, that is one of the funnest vegetables out there. Most fun. Is funnest a word? Most fun. Because you do not know if your pepper is going to be sweet or spicy. It's, explain it a little bit more, Noah, for people that are unfamiliar with the shishito.
Yeah. So it's what's I think is really cool about it is it's a thin-walled pepper. So, it's basically a snacking pepper that you roast. So you just saute it with a little bit of olive oil, put some salt on it, and it's like, bam, you're done. And what I found was, since people loved this kind of appetizer feel that they were getting at the restaurant, like they wanted to bring that experience home. Another cool characteristic is 1 in 10 or 1 in 20 is spicy, depending on the season. So, you really kind of have a Russian roulette approach. It's a great party pack to bring to your friends and and show them. But yeah, it's like this pepper that I know and love, and really is the ethos of the company. But back to kind of like where we're going, there was a moment where we focused a lot on the farming aspect, right? Becoming, really growing and harvesting these great vegetables. And there was a moment where I think I had this weird moment where I thought a lot about vegetables, not necessarily as the end of the process, but rather the beginning of one. And if you think about that and you view the vegetable as the North Star, you can really kind of build products around that, right? So, you have your farm and you have the vegetables, but, through that, like, you can mutate products into different formats, such as, the clean label salads line or the clean veggie bowl, our veggie bowl line, and so forth. So, our goal is to kind of have as many touch points with the consumer, knowing our brand ethos and what we stand for, but just to try to get people excited about vegetables and lots of different fun ways. We're always thinking of different products and just kind of ways to engage people to get just more vegetables into their hands.
Right. For sure. And let's talk a little bit more about the growing and the sourcing and, the raw product itself that ends up in the Ark Foods product lines, because I would say the lion's share of your product lines at this point are ready to eat, value added type offerings. Is that an accurate statement?
Yeah. So, we're a bit mixed. So on the farming side, like, we have farming partnerships where we pick the seeds and we really are very engaged with our farming partners. And then, on the clean label salads and the clean label veggie bowls, we have because we built kind of these vegetable markets, we have really good relationships with the farmers that we source from. But we don't necessarily grow like the cauliflower ourselves. We just know where it comes from.
That's right. Yeah. And I mean, that's that's totally a standard, really. I mean, in order to get so many different delicious veggies into that mix, you're going to have to lean on forge those partnerships for sure. No, I love it. So tell us a little bit more about like the culture of your company and the values for what Ark Foods is all about.
Yeah, I think honestly, our number one value is really accessibility. I feel like you have a lot of people kind of catering to making sure that this, the higher end market necessarily has like a lot of these clean label ingredients and ethos that is associated with clean label eating. But for us, it's really about like, instead of a bag of chips, not saying a bag of chips is unhealthy, but just, kind of allowing a consumer to have that same experience for the same type of price point, allowing them to kind of gravitate towards a mac and cheese, right? So it's really, I'd say the ethos of the company, everyone truly believes in trying to get these products to as many people as possible, right? So much of a lot of society would be solved if like people just ate more vegetables in general. And I think part of the reason why we're in it is to make sure that happens and innovate in the space that, not as many people think is exciting, right? You have your average age of a farmer is 58. And so, for us, it's all about taking risks, right? Getting, like the purple bell pepper, right? It's a really cool take on a normal green, red, and yellow stoplight pepper program. It's all about kind of engaging with the customer again and showing them and making them acknowledge that, vegetables can be fun and exciting too, right? You don't have to grab it.
Yeah. I mean, and when I think about your products too, Noah, I'm like, these are showstoppers. You know what I mean? Like they are the type of vegetables that get the shoppers to stop and pause and look, when they're in the produce department. And that's from both the unpackaging branding that you've done that I've already explained kind of drew me in initially, but even just like what you were saying with the purple bell peppers, that is an unsuspecting presentation, like you're not really expecting to see a purple bell pepper in the produce department. So it's, I would say that you definitely have, kind of developed this culture of being the showstopper in the produce department, which I think is super cool. And I hope you view that as a huge compliment because I mean it as such. And so let's talk about where folks can find your products. I mean, pre-show, I explained to you, I lately have been getting them delivered to my home a lot through like Amazon Fresh, but tell folks a little bit more about your distribution and where they can find them. And if they're not in their current market, what's your growth look like? Will you be there soon?
Yeah. So, our shishito has been in market obviously for a while. You can find that in Whole Foods nationally, as well as Walmart on the East Coast, but not nationally yet. So it really depends on the product. For our veggie bowl line, we're East Coast based, but you can find it in Giant as well as Giant Eagle and some other retailers like Whole Foods and Fresh Direct. And then our clean label salads line we just launched. You can find that at Whole Foods as well as some other retailers. We're working on West Coast expansion actually right now. So we really hope on the clean label eats line to be launching within this year on some more products over on the West Coast, so you can get it anywhere.
I love that. Well, that's great. So, Noah, it's been a true pleasure to bring you on. I love bringing a founder on. I love talking to people who have been, just the visionaries or the catalysts for bringing great products to market and expanding their heritage and their family farming brand. And gosh, that's exactly what you've done with Ark Foods. So with that, we are to the end of our conversation today, but our tradition here on the Produce Moms podcast is our guests get the final word. So you actually get any, closing remarks and the final goodbye for our listeners today. And I would like to remind everyone that's with us, please check out arkfoods.com. That's ARKFOODS.com. I love this product line. If I had to pick a favorite, it would be extremely difficult, but they've got this spicy cauliflower mac and cheese that I cannot get enough of, the cauli mac and jalapeno cheddar. So if you're looking for a place to start, that's where I say you begin. And with that, Noah, back to you for our closing remarks. Thank you so much for being our guest today.
Oh, it was my pleasure. Thanks for having me. Yeah. If anyone in any state or city, right, wants to try it and it's not in stores near you, we always love to hear. So if you could email just hello@arkfoods.com. We love people that want to try new products. So, we definitely are looking to expand in different areas. And we hope you all enjoy. And thanks again.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Produce Moms Podcast. If you or someone you know would like to be a featured guest, just send an email to Lori@theproducemoms.com. We know there is a produce mom in you because there's a produce mom in all of us. Join our community on Facebook and all social platforms. Help us change the way America eats. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.